On this episode of Kev, we get funky! Whoa! So we're right in the throes of doing an engine head gearbox in a 207, but we could get the stand and get Kev's engine on a stand, get the gearbox off and inspect the clutch and see what we're going to do about the clutch situation for that. So let's do that now. Okay everyone, so I'm just going to hit some music. I'm going to strip this down all the parts, or box all the parts appropriately so I don't forget where all the bolts and stuff go. I'm just going to give the block and the underside, maybe even the alloy, just a clean up and a lick of paint perhaps, just to make it look nice. And then we've got a new pump to go on, new filter, new plugs, a few other bits and bobs, just to make it look nice, I think. And there's loads of grit and rubbish and stuff in the top here from when it was at the breakers all fell over, so we need to sort that out. Amazing how tiny this thing is when you see this now on the old stand. So let's strip it down and we'll show you. There she is, she's all cleaned up, all masked up. Shout out to Skid Factory for a great idea of using some foil. That's been really useful in certain areas. Everything's plugged up where it should be, cleaned up where it should be. Anything ground off should be ground off. A few bits missed, but what we're going to do is going to give it a dusting of paint on all the silver stuff. That'll overspray. And then we'll do the block another colour. So comment in the bloops below and say what colour you think this block should be. And in this episode you will find out, so happy days. Likely on Instagram or something like fancy like that. I'll put a poll or something. What colour do you want it? Tell me and I'll ignore you because I'm talking in the past tense now. No future in history. Okay, so we have it. A little dusting of silver over everything that was sort of silver. A little dusting over the block. That's just overspray basically. So let's get on with painting it, the actual block. So just the iron block itself we're going to paint. What colour are we going to paint it? Oh yeah! Oh yeah! Sweet! Done the other side as well, not that anyone's going to see it. Happy with that. So now just paint some accessories, some bolts, brackets, and maybe sort out something on for the top plastic. See what it's like when I unwrap it. There we go. The orange, so cool. It's time to take this funkiness and add all these parts. Oh yeah, shiny parts. Woo! I felt this was orange, but not quite orange enough. So we spent way too much time getting all the grit and salt and crud and mud out of this, and then way too much time rubbing it all back, then way too much time cleaning it again, way too much time priming it, and way too much time painting it. Does look cool though. So best put it back on the engine. Let's see what we get. We've got a lot of parts to do. We've got parts hanging and drying and painting and ready. All these parts to go on. Some are new, some are just a quick blow over with a bit of paint. Some are just cleaned up really nice. So we've got all our little baggies, all our parts ready. We've got our engine on our stand, rocker cover's dry, parts we need are dry. Let's whoosh it all back together. Let's hit some time lapses on this episode for sure and clean this sucker up. Just take that in, everyone, because even if I say so myself, which I'm on my own in the shed, so I do, that looks ruddy awesome. Sweet! So we got the loom to modify before we put that on. And I'm waiting for the gaskets. You actually get two gaskets here, because you've got gasket, heat shield, gasket, turbo. We're also going to wrap the turbo. We're going to continue the heat shielding here, and obviously it's just going to melt plastic, so heat shielding as the OEM standard, and then we'll heat wrap it, and that should help protect the pipework here and the pipework that goes down to the lower pipe. Yeah, looking funky. This is the end of this episode, I think. Next episode we'll build up the gearbox and maybe strip the gearbox down, clean the gearbox, fit a diff, repair the gearbox, put it back together, and then gearbox on the end of there. That'll do nicely. So let's do that on the next episode. Thanks for watching.